first step in making this chocolate cake, you're gonna wanna put your sugar in your stand mixer. I already have. Then you're gonna wanna take your butter that's been softened. You're gonna wanna add that into there. We're going to be adding our butter, our eggs, and our vanilla. What we're gonna wanna do after we get all these put into our mixer is we're going to want to beat it for about a minute. It's gonna become light and fluffy. So let's go ahead and get our vanilla and our eggs. I haven't cracked mine yet, so let's go ahead and get these cracked and in there. Careful, don't get any shells in here. Nobody likes to have shells in their eggs or in their cake. Go ahead and get these in there. All right, now that those are in there, we're gonna put her down, lock it up. Okay, so now what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna take your flour. I've already pre-sifted mine. To that, we're going to be adding our baking soda and our salt. So just go ahead and pop that in there. We're gonna give it a stir. Stir it up. I have already went ahead and melted my chocolate chips, so we don't have to do that. I did melt mine in the microwave. I did it by first a 30-second increment and then I quickly melted. Be careful, don't scorch your chocolate because it'll make the cake taste burnt. Alright, so now that we have that, we're going to go ahead and put this over here real quick because the next step is we're going to be adding our melted chocolate to our butter, our eggs, our sugar, and our vanilla. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and scrape it out. I did use semi-sweet chocolate chips. Milk chocolate chips work just fine. Actually, you'd be surprised at how good this recipe is with the white chocolate chips too. I'm actually making this cake today for my dad's birthday. My stepmom contacted me a couple weeks ago and said, you know, let's throw your dad a surprise birthday party. He's turning 50. You know, let's do something different. Let's do something more special. Oh, I told her, I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna make him a birthday cake because it's what I love to do. And this cake is going to, it's chocolate cake. We're also going to be making a homemade chocolate icing to go on top. And then I have some Oreos I'm going to crush up. I'm going to put those around the side and a little bit around the top. And then because he's turning 50, I figured it would be pretty funny to write old as dirt on the top of the cake using a homemade buttercream icing. So we added our chocolate. Now we're going to mix it up into our mixer. Once it's mixed, we are going to start adding some of the flour and some of our milk alternately. You're going to want to beat it until the batter itself becomes fluffy, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So let's get going. Alright, so now we are going on to adding our flour. Like I said, you want to do it alternately, so a little bit of flour, a little bit of milk. Let that mix. A little bit of flour. And a little bit more of the milk. Let it mix. And this is a really important step. Do not just mix in all the flour and then all the milk, because the cake won't turn out right. Flour. Milk. Flour. And then the rest of the milk. Alright, once you have all of that in there and it is somewhat mixed up, you're going to want to turn it on to probably about a 5. And you're going to want to whip it for probably about 5 minutes, and it's going to get light and fluffy. Alright, as you can see, it's already really light and fluffy. We're about halfway, so I've done about 2.5 minutes of beating at about a 5 on my stand mixer. Halfway through, you're going to want to make sure that you scrape all the sides of the bowls down, because as you can see, there's some flour mix right there. And we want to make sure that all of that is mixed in, because if we don't, we take a chance in our cake being flat instead of rising like it should. So I'm gonna go ahead and scrape the sides of the bowl, and then we're gonna let it beat for another 2.5 minutes, and then it'll be nice and fluffy and ready to go into our pans to be baked. Alright, there is our cake batter. As you can see, it has definitely changed colors. It's not so dark anymore. It's nice and airy. It's nice and fluffy, and just let me tell you guys, I don't recommend you eat raw cake batter, but even when this cake has not been made yet and baked in the oven, it tastes unbelievable. When it's done baking, this cake literally tastes like you just took a bite out of a Hershey's bar. That's how good this cake is. Alright, so now that we have this all whipped up, we are going to be putting them into two 9x9 pans. They're regular, you know, sized cake pans. There's nothing special about them. Here they are. I'm going to spray them with non-cook spray to make sure that my cakes don't stick on the bottom. Then we're going to pop them in a 350-degree oven and let them cook for 25 to 30 minutes, or until a toothpick comes inserted into the cake comes out clean. Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and get these in the pans, pop them into the oven, and then we'll be back when they're done. Alright, my cakes are done. They took about 27 minutes at 350 degrees. You can see where I inserted a knife and it came out clean. That's when you know it's done. Also, another telltale sign that the cake is done is the edges of the cake will start to pull away from the pan. You're going to want to let these sit in their pans until they're almost cooled completely. So to get started with our icing, what we need to do is we need to put our softened butter into our stand mixer. We are also going to be adding our vanilla extract to that. Let's go ahead and add that in there. Then we're going to whip this until the butter is light and creamy. Once your butter is done whipping with the vanilla extract, you want to make sure that you scrape down the sides of the bowl to try to get as much of the butter off the side as you can. Then on a medium-low speed, you're going to want to add your cooled melted chocolate. So let's go ahead and get that in there. Try to get as much of the chocolate out of the bowl as you can. You don't have to get all of it. I mean, it's already super chocolatey as it is. This is just a nice little... Alright, let's add in our powdered sugar now. I like to do all of it at once. Just make sure if you do all of it, you start off on a low speed. You don't want to do it too high or you will be covered in powdered sugar. There you have it. You can see how light and fluffy the icing is. It's a beautiful light brown color, and it tastes just amazing. It's the perfect complement icing for this chocolate cake. Like I said earlier, this cake, when it is done, cooled, iced, and you go to eat it, tastes just like a Hershey's bar. When it comes to icing the cake, I prefer that you use the spatula like this, but a butter knife works just fine. Just the way that it angles, you know, makes it a little bit easier to ice it. So you put a dollop on there, you just kind of spread it around, spread it over like this. Spots of cake that don't have any icing on it, try to get it as even as you can when it comes to the icing, so that way it's pretty uniform when you cut into the cake. Alright, we got that one done, so now we're going to put the other cake on top of this one, ice the top of it, and then we do around the sides, and then we finish it nicely with a cute little design. Alright, now that I have the cake all iced, I have my Oreos. They're all chopped up right here in this little blender. They're very fine. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting them around the outside of the cake, around the outside, and then a little bit on top to make it look like dirt. Alright, so all you want to do is get some in your hand, and this is going to be messy. I mean, it's definitely not a clean process. But you take some, and you just kind of press it all the way around. You know, turning it as you go. And you can even, you know, like right here, you can cover that up. Cover it with some dirt, some Oreos. And this is a really fun cake for kids too. Kids love, you know, the dirt cakes for their birthdays, especially the boys, you know, they just think it's really cool.